My name is Leon. Um, I am many things, but I'd say I've been involved in creating content for the last 5 going on 6 years, and it's been a very interesting journey. Shout out to both Michael and Derek. You are talented connectors, and you both of you. I don't believe you're where you're supposed to be. You know that greatness is. I ain't gonna say wasted, but you both deserve way more. So I hope you get that sooner than later. Those two men have put me in positions to thrive on many occasions. We've shared many great things together, and I will always be grateful to the both of you. Saying that, being involved in the music industry is it's a tough thing to do because you get to see people live their dreams. You also get to see those things fail. And I used to be a musician myself. I believe I was a pretty good rapper, and it didn't work out for me. So I took it personally that when I was working with people and I could see their passion, I would do more than I was paid to do some of the time. And sometimes people took advantage of that. Other times people didn't. But I'm grateful because those jobs helped me feed my family, even though it was never enough. And, you know, my family still held me up. Um, I was also fortunate enough to be around people that were making moves and learn from them. Like, learn a lot. Michael, to be honest, is one of the people I've learned the most from. Like, he's a very smart man. Um, we've had the same conversations over and over again, and a reoccurring theme for me was about development in the scene. Um, I would say I reached my ceiling because I wasn't willing to do certain things. And also, I'm a grown ass man. There's certain things I'm just not gonna do. So it got to a point where, I mean, I could have just got more jobs more consistently, or I can find something else to do. And a part of it was also understanding that working with artists and the ego that comes with them, it's very very difficult some of the time because these people find it necessary to impose or edify themselves in order to feed an image that isn't necessarily true. Um, I'm not someone that plays into that, and I was also fortunate enough that I was able to have personal relationships with some pretty big artists, and they never treated me like I was a fanboy or anything like that. So I'm very grateful for that. At the same time, there were many people who tried to bloviate their value, and I've run into numerous problems. And I have decided that is not for me. Fortunately, now that I am focusing on other things, it has allowed me to pick and choose who I work with. And I'm very picky. It's not because I'm the most talented person. I am definitely not. It's just more for the sake of peace of mind moving forward and being able to just be in my right state rather than having duality and being able to be the best version of myself, which I'm trying to work towards every single day. The next part for me, I guess, when you go through life and there's a sequence of unfortunate events that just happen to perfectly come together at the same time that just change your whole world. You know, I'm sure lockdown was the beginning of a series of unfortunate events for a lot of people, including myself. I already had the idea of transitioning to film from before then, but it then became a reality that I had more time to internalize, and I became depressed, severely depressed. Um, I found myself in a state where I had a lack of motivation to do the things that I was doing before because now that I didn't have to leave the house as much, I couldn't understand or the value wasn't tangible. the things that were great that came with the lifestyle were no longer there, and it just had me in a position where I had to reevaluate myself and the things that I was doing. Um, Something that has always frustrated me is I've always believed that the UK is a melting pot, and I think that we have the most interesting diaspora in the world. Like Americans, the black Americans, they think they're American. We have dual nationality, so I myself am British and Jamaican. Um, there's all sorts here, and I feel like we are a cultural hub. It's very very obvious in the creative arts, and I feel like there is an underrepresentation in film, urban film. Another thing that I have complained to the people around me about consistently is the lack of media that we have now. And I don't want to romanticize, but I would say there was a golden age. I am showing my age. Trouble TV, we had. Why is it leaving me now? We had the Steve Harvey show, One on One, like hella shows. And then obviously with Nickelodeon, you had Sister Sister. There was a lot of stuff coming out of America. And one thing that I've always said is it would have been great if we had local things. Like local is usually better for most things. And I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself. And as the years have gone by and the urban content that's been released has been in the same vein of violence and appropriating as well as promoting a lifestyle that is not only unattainable but very toxic. I've been longing for something that can nourish me. And I'm not gonna say those American shows did that for me or those movies. What I'm gonna say is a lot of us we learnt from that because that was the only place we could see ourselves as close to ourselves as possible. And yeah, that meant that, we had a bit of an American twang when we were saying certain things, in jest. But it's a thing where being in the music industry, I understood the importance and value of media and the things that you ingest sonically also build you. So I began to have a more of a desire to create content that could nourish us. And when I say us, I mean people within the UK. But the same way we have dual nationality, there's no reason other people can't benefit from it as well. So I decided, because it was years of close calls where people had promised me things and I had supported their visions and their journeys, and when it came time for them to support mine, they did not reciprocate. It was time to take things into my own hands. And it got to the point where, keep in mind, I shot music videos and I don't have any qualifications in that field. Um, I was a pretender until enough people believed it, and then I was really good, and I still had to improve. And I had decided to jump into something which, again, I had no qualifications in, and I knew nothing about, and I became another pretender. And yeah, shout out Ed. We had a pretty good conversation recently about that. When does being a great pretender become greatness? When does that happen? I find myself in a position where I had a plan. It took me a long time to mind map that plan. Shout out to Dan, the GOAT, my mentor. He's opened my eyes to so many things, and that man has put his money where his mouth is. For me, he has been so helpful in so many ways, and he has no reason to be. He has no reason to be. So I'm very grateful for that. Um, he taught me how to mind map, and I was mind mapping my plan for about 2 years before I had clarity. I found myself trying to do the guesswork to figure out certain things because, again, I had no background in film or anything like that. And the plan was, because I was already a cameraman, we'll say cameraman, I was going to just find other people that had the same ethos as me, and we would work together and create something. I don't think I mentioned the ethos. A part of the mind mapping was, because I also have children, it's become a pressing importance to me, the media that can be ingested, because I want them to see themselves when they look on television and learn from it as well. You know, they're young, so it's not particularly harmful, but at the same time, I want them to see themselves. And like many parents, we lean on YouTube, and sometimes YouTube can take you to some very strange and dark places that I'm not comfortable with any children watching. It's not something I can control. Almost ironic that's the medium I'm using right now. But at the same time, it became a pressing matter of, when you know better, you have to do better. And you have to embody the change you want to manifest in the world. So, I want my kids to watch better content, so I need to create that content if I can't find it anywhere. And even if I can, if I'm a part of the curation of it, what do we have to lose from that? What do I have to lose? What do they have to lose from that? Nothing. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to start there, and also, even if I start somewhere else, it's something they can benefit from later. So my aim in general became to dilute negative stereotypes of ethnic minorities, in particular black people, because I am black myself. And it's not about having a bias, it's about removing a bias. So it's not just for black people, it's for everybody. And the idea is, in American media, you've got Black Panther, you've got doctors, you've got lawyers. Here you've got Top Boy, you've got Blue Story. And I am not saying that there aren't other people doing things, but I'm talking about the height of media that people recognize. And that's a problem to me. I feel like if it was part of a spectrum where it was the minority, it wouldn't be a problem. But what people do not realize is, these are the things that shape people's opinions of us. And we find ourselves being judged because of those things. So, if we were able to create a mass amount of media at a high quality level that people could ingest to soften and also give a real perspective of us being more than those things, because those are people's stories, some people's stories. It's not even their whole story. That's another part of the problem, but we don't need to get into that. The point I'm trying to make is, I want to create media and content where you're not, you can be anything you want to be. Like, you can be the doctor, you could be the criminal, but it's not because you're black. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be like on the merit of talent, and also making sure that we promote positive images of people in an entertaining way. I don't want it to be something where you get turned off by it or something like that. I want it to be entertaining. So I managed to mind map the plan. I started to reach out to the other creators, and I thought it was going to go well. Turns out life can get in the way. It's not always about if people are serious. Sometimes people are just busy, you know? Sometimes people just have things to do. And again, that did not work out for me. I then found myself in a position where, already being a great pretender, I'm going to have to wear multiple hats, because I don't have people around me that I can rely on. I know a lot of people can relate to that. When I say rely on, I mean in the capacity of what I'm trying to do. Shout out to my mum, never ever let me down in my whole life. Like, I can definitely rely on my mum. But the point I'm making is, in this capacity, there was nobody that I could rely on. Through no fault of their own at times, but it just is what it is. We all have our own lives, we all have our own problems or whatever. Cool. So I decided to try and get people around me on Zoom calls and hopefully we could create something together that's entertaining. And I thought I could keep them galvanized for, regular stuff. And the ideas were decent. But the reality was, it was still me, you know? I'm the one that's doing the work. And because I didn't know what I was doing and there wasn't enough progression fast enough with the ideas, I was unable to keep the momentum with those group of people, those group of people, that group of people, those people. And yeah, another thing didn't work out. So I found myself in a position where I was alone, and I took the time to internalize again, reflect, try and nourish myself with positive messages and envision positive things. And I decided, I am the greatest pretender. So I need to start pretending. I'm gonna put myself into the thick of it, and I'm going to build something. So I had a short that I had written, and that was what I tried to execute, and everything flopped on the shoot day. Everything flopped. Um, Keeping in mind I don't know anything, so yeah, there was no rehearsals or anything like that. Like, I was trying to just go for it, and it's a good thing that didn't work out. Um, I then, off the back of that, tried to write a side story off the back of that story, which was smaller, and I casted for it as well as leaning on. Shout out to Lamar. Um, he's a very talented musician. I feel like when he finds himself, he's gonna be able to do a lot of things because he's, what's the best way to put this? He's not just looking at it from the music, he's looking at it as a business. And a lot of artists fail to do that. Yeah. So he kind of said to me, whatever you do, I'm going to support you with that. And I took him up on his word. Zora changed my life. Um, I casted her for the short film. I had written it. Keeping in mind, I am a great pretender, so I had no experience in doing so. And it came to shoot day, and I built it up in my mind, and I just thought somehow, for some reason, I was going to create something amazing. And that was not the case. Not for any fault of them. I mean, important detail. Some of my friends had rallied around me at the time. I had a production crew. I had an assistant director. I had hair and I had makeup. Like, it wasn't nothingy. There was a bit of production value in it. And it didn't go according to plan. But what does go according to plan? It didn't go well at all. And that's probably the best thing that could have happened to me. I remember after we shot, coming back to my flat and just having a really good conversation with them, the guys that came down. And everything was unknown to me before it started to reveal the mark of, okay, you need to improve. Like, you're seriously like trash. But it's okay to start there because you've got to start somewhere. You need to do better. And me being me, reckless, I decided to pay for a course. I ain't gonna mention the course but yeah. So paid for a course. It was a 12-hour course. We shot on a Saturday. I had done the course by Sunday afternoon, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, I've leveled up so much. Oh my gosh. And I was like, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Boof, 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 bam, bam, bam. And I was ready to hit again. So, Lamar and Zora, lovely people, agreed to come back and reshoot. And guess what? It didn't go so great the second time either. I was still learning. This is also about 5 weeks ago from today when this is being released. So yeah, this is very recent. I kind of also, I have an obsessive character, so it also became known to me. Shout out to Taja. Um, I hold myself to a very high standard, but in the process, I let things slide that I shouldn't. And I have been taking a lot of time to ingest the right things and find myself releasing my ego and duality to try and be me full time. I don't go to work and have to pretend to be anybody else anymore. I felt like I had to do that when I was shooting music videos. I do have a job now, and I hope that eventually I don't have to do that, but I am enjoying that job and I can still be myself there. Um, yeah, so I spend at least 5 hours every single day on film, whether that be in the capacity of learning, writing. Oh, we'll get to that as well. Writing, watching, creating, rehearsals, something every single day. I refuse to miss it. And I believe that if I can maintain, which I've managed to even on challenging occasions, the improvement's going to be rapid. And it has been. And if you don't believe me, you can ask any of the cast that are involved. So, a part of what makes this so special is Zora, wonderful mind. She really got into the character, and we had discussions about the character. And this is all new to me. This is my first project, but she challenged me to do more. So I decided to reach out to more people and expand the cast, expand the scenes, and expand the storyline. This is while I'm still being the great pretender. Ain't done anything before yet, ain't finished anything. Um, it's growing, it's building. We're getting new characters. I'm I'm learning that one of the most valuable things I could do was try to not make it look like it was bigger or better than it was. So to lean into the rawness, the grittiness, and even the actors and actresses. This is not a slight to anybody I'm working with. This is about me. I have never been a director before. I have never been a writer before. I'm learning all of these things in the process. So it was my best bet that once I had found actors and actresses to kind of lean into the things that they're comfortable with to make my job easier, so I'd be able to get a better performance from them without having to understand how to get it out of them myself. It would be easier for them to achieve that. Excuse me. So um, we got more cast members, and I got carried away, and it began to get very complicated. Keeping in mind, I'm doing this I'm thinking about it every day, and the short film that was only meant to be 2 scenes, it's turned into a whole 28 scenes with these. It's like a telenovela. It's like intertwining storylines and hella drama, juicy, 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 and it was too big. It was too big. There was no way I was going to be able to do that. Me? No way. The great pretender. There's no way I was going to be able to do that. I found myself like, okay, you need to take a couple seats, you need to reevaluate, you need to focus on actually getting something done. And we're still not finished on this day. 4 weeks later, we've done a couple of reshoots, we've got more scenes in, we've got more cast members in, we have been building, and it is trending in the right direction. Is this film going to be what I want it to be? No. I was literally on the phone to Zora today talking about it. It's changed so much. It would be impossible to be what I want it to be, but it's going to be something we can all be proud of because we put so much time and effort into it. And it's not Blue Story. It's not no gangbanging. It's not no violence or anything like that. The focus is toxic urban culture. There are some gems and messages in there, and the things that we have planned moving forward. It is going to be a 10-part series, and I've said it here, so I have to do it now, but that is the plan. If that changes, it's not because I want it to, but that is the aim. 10 films. I've written the first one. I am finalizing the script for the second, which we plan to start shooting next week. I've written most of the third one, but I'm going to have to do some tweaks. The fourth one, we are in the process of dealing with now. And yeah, that's going to be for the grown folks. That's some pain, fam. Pain. In terms of my journey as well, the other thing to keep in mind is I am the epitome of a one-man band. I do the directing, I do the writing, I do the sound operation, I oversee the rehearsals, as well as I involve myself a lot in these things. I'm doing the camera work myself. I am doing the editing. I'm doing everything that you can possibly do, apart from the hair and makeup. Did I think it was impossible before? Yes, impossible before. Yes, I did. I'm proof that it's not impossible, even as the great pretender. And the feedback that I have gotten from what I've done so far has been very good. For a zero budget film from somebody with no prior experience, as well as just generally entertaining. So we do plan to host all of it on YouTube. Um, that makes it a little bit easier as well because the production value doesn't need to be as high. But the main thing behind it was every day as I'm working on different things, I improve. I improve. And I'm looking forward to getting the first one out. And then when Snapshot, the second film, comes, it's only been a couple of weeks, but I've improved. I improve so much every week. The aim is to just be 1% better every day, you know? I've improved so much. I can't wait to show people the development. And then by the time I get to the fourth film, who knows how good I'm going to be at this? Who actually knows? And we're just going to keep going. We're going to just keep going. I am also working on other things as well as working a job, as well as being a dad, as well as still shooting a few music videos here and there, you know. Friendships have kind of gone out the window. There ain't no time for that. But I guess the cast and the people I'm working with, cause it's in line with what I'm doing, they've become my friends, I would say. I guess also it was probably the way it was before as well, you know. Convenient relationships define your friendships sometimes, and I guess that's been the same with me because I know I need to do this very quickly. I'm trying to be the GOAT. Like I'm not trying to be good at this. I'm trying to be the greatest. Like I always used to talk about Tyler Perry and how I wanted to be a UK version. But at the same time, I'm so critical of his work, even being a great pretender. But I've always felt like he plateaued and then certain things just, you hear things as well. And you want to have someone to measure yourself from. And that's who I was looking at. And now I feel like we're not the same. It's not because I'm better than him or anything like that. It's just I've taken on a different set of tasks. And I don't know many people that are able to do what I'm currently doing. And when I get good at it, I don't know many people that are going to be able to do what I'm doing. The toughest part for me has been the writing. The writing. I mean, shout out to Lamar. He's a soft-spoken guy. And my lord, the dialogue I wrote the first time, it was moist. Like, every time I watched it back, just listening to him read it, like, it made me laugh so hard because I was like, this is so bad. It was so, like, like how people, they put a hand out, like they're holding a skull, like that Shakespeare thing. Like, that kind of, that energy is, like, really forced. It was a reach, bro. It was so bad. And now I'm just at a point where it's like, yeah, we don't need to do that anymore. I figured it out. I keep on practicing, and everybody knows how much well, not everyone knows how much I've improved, but everybody who's with me along the way can see the improvement, and now we're ready to take over. So, yeah,